Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures, where humanity always rises. Dr. Harris sat alone in the dark control room of NASA's Deep Space Listening Center when the alarm light suddenly turned red. At first, he thought it was a system glitch, because nothing unusual had been reported for weeks. But then the screen in front of him showed a pattern he had never seen before. It was coming from Eldora 7. The oldest known star in the galaxy, a star older than Earth, older than human history, older than anything humans had ever touched. But the signal was not the kind a star sends. It was too clean, too controlled, too perfect. Stars make noise, chaos, static. This was like someone was playing a mathematical song through the burning heart of a sun. His hands shook as he amplified the signal. The numbers repeated in a loop, forming a structure almost like a message, something intelligent. He called the night supervisor, but before the man even reached the room, another alert popped up. A second transmission was hitting all Earth communication networks at once. Satellites, radios, TV channels, even internet streams. It was not from NASA. It was not from any human source. It was from an alien ship somewhere near Eldora 7. The message was simple, cold, and terrifying. We claim Eldora 7. It is our sacred creation. The whole world went silent in shock. For years humans had looked for signs of life, hoping for friendly voices in the dark, but they never imagined aliens would boldly claim a star, as if owning it. Scientists everywhere demanded proof, so NASA replayed the alien broadcast. The alien voice sounded layered, like hundreds of voices speaking at once. No one could identify their species or origin. But Dr. Harris was not looking at the alien message anymore. His eyes were fixed on the pattern from the star itself, because something inside that pattern looked painfully familiar. He zoomed in on the energy pulses and compared them to old NASA engineering files. His breath caught in his chest. The signal matched old human designs, schematics for energy stabilizers used in early fusion reactors. It made no sense. Human technology was new. Eldora 7 was older than the universe humans understood. There was no way humans could have built anything near that star. But the data in front of him said otherwise. As he ran more tests, the impossible truth grew stronger. The star was artificial. It looked like a natural star on the outside, but the inside structure was too organized, too stable, and too efficient. Someone had engineered the oldest star in the universe, and the energy signature inside it was human. People in the room laughed nervously. They said the computer must be broken. They said it was impossible, stupid, insane. But the DNA scanners did not lie. The star's light carried a hidden signature, tiny fragments of human DNA encoded inside the signal itself, like a message waiting to be discovered. The room filled with fear. If the aliens were telling the truth, they believed they created the star. But if the data was correct, then humans had somehow been involved long before modern humanity even existed. The world governments held emergency meetings. Who had built a star? Ancient humans? Time travelers? Another human species lost in history? No answer made sense. Before Earth could decide what to do, the alien sent a second message, this time directed only to NASA. Do not investigate Eldora 7. Do not send ships. This star is protected. It belongs to us alone. The threat was clear. Any approach would be seen as an act of war. But the scientists at NASA could not look away. The human DNA signature was too bright, too perfect, too intentional. It was like someone long ago wanted humans to find the truth at the right time. Dr. Harris stayed awake all night, staring at the star map glowing on his screen. Eldora 7 pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and steady. For a moment he imagined it calling to him, pulling him toward a secret older than human memory. And then he saw something that froze him completely. Hidden inside the last burst of data was a tiny symbol. A symbol NASA had used in old classified engineering projects. A symbol that should not exist anywhere near a star billions of years old. The emblem was simple, a circle with 3 lines, the ancient mark of humanity's first deep space program. His voice cracked as he whispered, "This star was built by humans, but how?" And at that moment, the star flashed again, brighter than before, as if answering back. The impossible had begun. NASA had gone into full lockdown after the strange discovery around Eldora 7, and Dr. Harris found himself standing in the cold hallway outside the Forbidden Archive, a section of NASA no one talked about, a place older employees whispered about but never entered. It required 4 levels of clearance, 2 physical keys, and a biometric scan. Even the president needed special permission to access it. Harris had only learned it existed a few hours earlier, when the human DNA signature hidden inside the star forced NASA to search for anything ancient that could connect humanity to something so impossible. When the steel doors finally opened with a deep metallic echo, Harris stepped inside and felt as if he had walked into a tomb of forgotten history. Dust floated in the air, glowing in the dim yellow lights. Old metal cabinets, ancient digital tablets, rolled-up star maps, and broken data crystals covered the shelves. A strange chilled silence filled the room, as if time itself had stopped here. He began searching the files one by one until he found a black box with a golden symbol, the same emblem he had seen encoded in the star's light. His fingers trembled as he opened it. Inside were documents labeled Helios Construct, with a date so shocking that he almost dropped the folder. Over 12,000 years old. But humans 12,000 years ago were simple farmers, not star builders. The documents described a secret civilization, advanced far beyond anything modern humans had, capable of building massive structures in space. Some pages were damaged, burned, or corrupted, but the parts that survived told of a super project, constructing a stable artificial star as a power source for something called the Galactic Shield. Harris felt like he was reading fiction, but the symbols, numbers, and engineering notes were undeniably human. As he tried to process this, alarms began ringing across NASA again. A second alien transmission was arriving. Every screen in every room turned black. Then a face appeared, not exactly a face, but shifting shapes behind a dark mask. The voice spoke in that same eerie layered tone. Humans of Earth, this is your final warning. Do not study Eldora 7. Do not approach it. Do not repeat the sins of your ancestors. Everyone froze. Ancestors. Did the aliens know something humans did not? The message continued. The star belongs to us. It was given to us. You are forbidden to interfere. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the world in confusion and fear. Harris turned back to the file in his hands. The words inside grew stranger. One document explained that ancient humans had traveled far beyond Earth, building colonies, fleets, and structures across the galaxy. They were called the first humans, a name that made him shiver. Why had no historian ever found evidence of them? How could an entire galactic civilization vanish without a trace? Harris dug deeper and found a star map showing Eldora 7 marked with a glowing human symbol, as if claiming ownership. This shocked him more than the alien threat. The aliens said the star was theirs. The ancient file said humans built it. 2 truths collided, and neither made sense. As he kept searching, he found another damaged tablet. When he touched it, it projected a faint hologram of a woman dressed in strange ancient armor, speaking a language that sounded old yet familiar. The device auto-translated it. If you find this, then the star has awakened again. And if the star has awakened, the danger has returned. We left these warnings for our children, for the humans who would rise after us. Harris felt the weight of her words pressing on his chest. Children, meaning humanity was not the first version. Something wiped the first version away. Before he could think further, the control room called him. The aliens were moving. Satellite data showed a massive unknown fleet forming a blockade around Eldora 7. NASA scientists shouted over each other in panic. Some wanted to shut down all research, fearing alien retaliation. Others demanded answers. Why are they guarding the star so aggressively? Someone asked. Because, Harris said quietly, holding the ancient files tight. They know we are connected to it. The room went silent. The director asked him to explain. Harris spread the files on the table, revealing the ancient human map, the project notes, and the emblem. The scientist looked at it with disbelief, fear, and wonder. Are you saying humans built the oldest star in the galaxy? The director whispered. Harris nodded slowly. Or someone who looked exactly like us. The idea felt insane, but the evidence was too strong. The director asked him the most dangerous question. Then who are those aliens claiming it? Harris looked at the alien blockade forming around the star, the ancient warnings, and the fear growing across Earth. His voice was low but firm. We are dealing with something much older than us, and whatever the truth is, we were never supposed to forget it. As he spoke, NASA's main screens flickered again. Another transmission arrived, just 3 words this time. Stay away, humans. And Eldora, 7 pulsed once more, as if calling to Earth. NASA moved faster than it had in decades, working day and night to prepare a small secret mission to Eldora 7, even though the aliens had warned them to stay away. The world was terrified, but curiosity was stronger. At the center of the mission were 3 people: Dr. Harris, the scientist who discovered the human DNA inside the star; Maya, a fearless pilot with a calm mind even in the worst danger; and Tom, an engineer who could fix anything from a broken toaster to a damaged starship engine. They were chosen because they understood the risks. They knew the aliens might destroy them the moment they got close, yet they agreed to go, because the truth about Eldora 7 could change everything humans believed about their past. The ship, named Horizon 1, was small but fast, built for stealth and long-distance travel. On launch day, the sky above the spaceport glowed orange as the engines roared to life. People across Earth watched the live feed with fear and hope mixed in their hearts. If the team succeeded, humanity would finally know why an ancient star carried human symbols. If they failed, it might start a war Earth could not win. As Horizon 1 left the atmosphere and entered the quiet darkness of space, Harris stared at the blue planet shrinking behind them. He wondered if this was how the first humans felt when they left Earth thousands of years ago. Maya set the course, and the ship began its silent journey toward Eldora 7, guided by the strange pulse inside the star's light. For the first 3 days, everything went smoothly. The stars outside the window looked peaceful, but the crew knew danger could appear at any moment. They reviewed alien broadcasts again and again, trying to understand why the aliens were so protective. Were they guarding something, hiding something, or following orders given long ago by someone else? On the 4th day, Horizon 1 passed into a region of space near Eldora 7, and all of Maya's screens flashed red. Tom rushed to the controls. "We have company," Maya said in a low voice. Outside the ship, dark shapes moved like shadows against the distant star. Alien ships, huge, silent, and shaped like twisted blades, were patrolling the area. They were not attacking yet, but they were watching. Harris felt a chill run through him. These aliens looked nothing like the ones shown in movies. Their ships seemed alive, almost breathing. Maya slowed Horizon 1 and switched to silent mode. The ship drifted quietly like a ghost, hidden in the darkness. As they got closer to Eldora 7, the star looked different from what any human telescope had ever shown. It was too perfect, too stable, burning with a strange metallic glow. Tom zoomed in on the star's surface, and his jaw dropped. "Those are plates," he whispered. Under the blazing fire, he could see giant metal structures, smooth and polished, forming patterns like armor. No natural star had a structure like that. It was built. Harris felt his heart pounding. The ancient files were real. Humans, ancient humans, had built this star. But why? And how? Before they could think further, Maya noticed something even stranger. A faint signal appeared on the communication panel. It was weak, old, and filled with static. Harris cleaned the feed, and what came through shocked all 3 of them. It was an ancient Earth language, Sumerian, one of the oldest languages humans had ever recorded. A soft voice repeated a message over and over. "Children of Earth, return to the station. Return to the orbit of the Creator Star." Harris looked at Maya and Tom, speechless. How could a dead language be broadcasting from deep space? And who recorded it? The signal was coming from a structure orbiting Eldora 7. Maya turned the ship toward it, and as they got closer, they saw a massive ring-shaped station, larger than any human structure ever built, floating silently around the star like a guardian from another age. The surface of the station was covered in ancient markings, symbols matching the ones Harris found in the Forbidden Archive. Humanity's oldest designs were right there, untouched for thousands of years. Harris felt a strange pull inside him, almost like the star was calling them closer. Tom detected an energy field around the station, but instead of blocking them, it opened slowly as Horizon One approached, like the structure was recognizing them. "It's letting us in," Maya whispered. They entered the docking tunnel, and the inside lights turned on automatically, glowing with a soft golden color. The station was still alive, still functioning, still waiting. Harris stepped forward, feeling the air grow warmer, as if the walls themselves were breathing. Suddenly the lights shifted, forming shapes and patterns. A hologram triggered in front of them, showing tall figures wearing ancient human armor. The hologram spoke in a clear, translated voice. "We were the first humans. If you are seeing this, then the star has awakened." The three explorers stared in shock. The truth was far bigger, far older, and far more dangerous than they imagined. And somewhere outside, the alien ships moved silently, watching them enter a place they were never meant to reach. The real story behind Eldora 7 had just begun. The hologram of the ancient humans flickered in front of Dr. Harris, Maya, and Tom, glowing with a warm golden light as the silent station around them seemed to awaken after thousands of years of sleep. The figures looked human, just taller, stronger, with sharper features, as if they were an upgraded version of modern humans. Their armor was covered with symbols that matched the ones found in the Forbidden Archive, proving beyond doubt that this place belonged to humanity's forgotten past. The hologram spoke again, its voice calm but heavy with meaning. "We are the first humans," it said, "the builders of Eldora 7. We built this star to protect the galaxies from a coming darkness." As the hologram moved, it showed images of massive machines constructing the artificial core of Eldora 7, using energy humans today could never understand. Harris felt goosebumps rising on his arms. How had this ancient human race disappeared? How did humans on Earth lose all memory of them? And why had they built a star instead of a weapon or a fleet? The hologram continued, showing maps of galaxies, glowing with routes that the first humans once traveled freely. Maya looked around and whispered, "This station, this place, it's older than every country on Earth." Tom nodded, staring at the walls. "Older than human civilization itself." Suddenly the station lights dimmed, and a deep humming sound echoed through the long metallic corridors. Harris stepped forward, feeling a temperature shift in the air, like something big was powering up. A wall opened behind the hologram, revealing a massive hall filled with advanced technology, floating platforms, giant consoles, ancient star maps, and strange machines still pulsing with energy. The crew walked inside carefully, overwhelmed by the sheer size of the chamber. Everything looked untouched, preserved, waiting for humans to return. Then the hologram changed, revealing a different image. Not a human this time. A creature, strange, silver-skinned, with glowing blue eyes and long limbs, appeared. Harris recognized the shape. It was almost identical to the alien ships blocking the star. The hologram narrator spoke again. "These beings are the Guardians. They were created by us to protect Eldora 7 after we departed." Maya froze. "Created by humans?" Tom's voice cracked. "You're telling me the aliens blocking us are basically human-made robots?" The hologram did not answer directly, but it continued showing how the first humans engineered a new species, part biological and part machine, designed to guard the artificial star. They were programmed to follow ancient commands, protect Eldora 7 at all costs. But when the first humans disappeared, the Guardians had no one left to receive new orders. They continued their task endlessly, believing Eldora 7 was theirs alone. Harris's mind raced. This explained the alien broadcasts, the warnings, the aggression. The Guardians were not evil. They were confused, loyal to ancient humans who no longer existed. But that raised an even bigger question. Where did the first humans go? The hologram shifted again, and the lights around them flickered. The image showed giant dark creatures moving between stars, like cosmic serpents with mouths big enough to swallow planets. "We called them the Void Serpents," the hologram said. "They feed on star energy and destroy civilizations. Eldora 7 was built to stop them." Tom whispered, "So this was a shield?" "A beacon," Harris corrected softly. A weapon. A barrier. All at once. The hologram explained that the first humans fought the void serpents for centuries, pushing them back into the dark edges of the universe. But then a catastrophic event happened, something so destructive that the first human empire vanished overnight. Only fragments remained, lost stations, old maps, and the artificial star that kept running on its own. The Guardians assumed their creators died and took full control of Eldora 7, refusing anyone access, even new generations of humans. As the hologram faded, a heavy silence fell over the hall. Harris felt his heart beating faster. If the first humans built all this, then modern humans are their descendants, he said slowly. We're the children they talked about. Maya touched one of the glowing panels. But the Guardians don't know that. The moment she said this, alarms exploded through the station. A deep robotic voice echoed across the corridors. Unauthorized humans detected. You are violating sacred space. The crew spun around to see shadows moving near the entrance. The Guardians had arrived. Tall, silver-bodied beings, with glowing blue eyes and smooth faces, stepped into the hall. Their movements were fast, quiet, almost graceful, but their presence felt heavy and dangerous. You are not the builders, one Guardian spoke, its voice echoing with metallic layers. You are intruders. Harris raised his hands. We are human. We came from Earth. But the Guardians did not react. Their old programming did not recognize modern humans as the same species. Maya whispered urgently, Harris, they don't believe us. The Guardians raised their arms, energy building at their palms. The station lights flickered. The room trembled. And Harris realized something terrifying. This ancient human creation might destroy the new humans who returned. The past was alive, and it did not trust them. The Guardians moved closer, their silver bodies glowing brighter as energy gathered in their hands, and Harris felt a cold wave of fear rush through his chest as he realized these beings were not simply guards. They were ancient protectors designed to destroy anything that threatened Eldora 7, even if that threat was a human descendant who had no idea of the past. Maya stepped between the Guardians and the team, her voice trembling but strong as she said, We are not your enemies. We came because the star called us. But the Guardians did not care about words. Their programming was thousands of years old and absolute. One Guardian spoke with a metallic echo that filled the hall. The builders have not returned. You are imposters. Leave or be eliminated. Tom whispered, This is bad, really bad, and slowly reached into his bag for a small EMP device, but Harris grabbed his hand quickly. Don't, he said. If we attack them, we lose any chance of proving who we are. The Guardians raised their arms again, energy building into bright blue spheres that hummed with deadly power. Harris quickly stepped forward, holding up the ancient Helios emblem he found in the Forbidden Archive. Look at this, he shouted. The blue eyes of the Guardians flickered for a moment as they scanned the emblem. A strange vibration ran through their bodies, like a glitch in their core systems. Where did you acquire that symbol? One Guardian demanded. From your creators, Harris replied. From the first humans. The Guardians paused, confused. Their programming forced them to compare the symbol to their ancient memory files. Slowly, their weapons dimmed. Harris realized he had one chance to convince them. He took a deep breath and lifted a small DNA scanner from his pocket. This device can show you something your data must recognize, he said. Watch. He pressed his thumb to the scanner. A hologram of his DNA sequence appeared above it, spinning slowly in the air. At first, nothing happened. Then the Guardian's eyes widened, glowing brighter than before, scanning the DNA frantically. A sudden metallic voice echoed from all of them at once. Impossible. Builder DNA detected. Maya's eyes widened. Tom froze. The Guardians stepped back in shock, their entire bodies shaking as if ancient code inside them was rewriting itself. One Guardian whispered, almost in awe, The blood of the builders remains in you. Harris nodded. We are their descendants. We are the humans who came after. The Guardians looked at each other, communication flowing silently between them, too fast for the human mind. After a few tense seconds, their weapons shut off completely. They bowed their heads slightly, their voices softer as they said, "We greet the children of our creators." Relief washed over the team, but before they could celebrate, the station shook violently. The floor trembled. Panels flickered. Distant alarms echoed across the ancient structure. The Guardians turned sharply toward the star-facing window. "The Void Serpents have awakened," one said, its voice trembling for the first time. Harris, Maya, and Tom rushed to the window. Outside, in the dark space beyond the star, giant shadowy shapes were moving. They looked like enormous serpents made of living darkness, swallowing starlight as they slithered through space. Maya whispered, "Those things, they're real?" Tom's voice cracked. "The first humans fought those." The Guardians nodded. "They have returned to feed on the star. If Eldora 7 falls, all protection will fail." Harris realized the importance of the star now. It was not just a creation, it was a shield, a last defense against these cosmic monsters. The Guardians turned back to the team. "We must activate the star's ancient defenses. Only humans with builder blood can access the core." Harris felt a chill. "You mean me?" "Yes," the Guardian replied. "The star will respond to your DNA. It was designed that way." The station shook again as a void serpent slashed at the outer energy field. Sparks danced across the star's shield. Maya looked at the Guardians anxiously. "Will they break through?" "Soon," the Guardian answered calmly. "Their hunger is endless." The Guardians motioned for Harris to follow them into a deep corridor leading toward the heart of the station. As they walked, the ancient walls lit up around him, reacting to his presence. Glowing brighter the closer he came to the control chamber. It felt like the station recognized him, like it had been waiting for this moment. Maya and Tom followed close behind, but when they reached a massive sealed door, the Guardians stopped them gently. "Only the one with builder blood may enter," one Guardian said, looking directly at Harris. "If he fails, all will be lost." Harris swallowed hard, fear rising in his chest. He wasn't a warrior or a hero. He was a scientist. But as he touched the ancient door, it glowed gold and slowly opened, revealing the star's control core. Behind him, Maya whispered, "We believe in you." The Guardians added softly, "Fulfill your ancestors' purpose." Harris stepped inside, knowing the fate of humanity, and the future hidden in Eldora 7 now rested in his hands. Inside the control core, Dr. Harris felt as if he had stepped into the heart of a living sun, though the chamber around him was calm and glowing with a soft golden light. The walls curved like the inside of a giant sphere, covered in symbols that changed and moved as if responding to his presence. At the center of the room floated a massive crystal-like structure, spinning slowly, radiating warm pulses of energy that matched the heartbeat-like rhythm of Eldora 7 itself. Harris approached it carefully, feeling a strange sensation in his chest, as if the star recognized him. When he reached out his hand, the crystal projected images into the air. Memories, ancient scenes, a history forgotten by all modern humans. The room darkened, and Harris found himself standing inside a holographic world. He saw cities built on floating platforms, humans flying in silver suits, giant ships crossing galaxies in seconds. These first humans were unbelievably advanced, far beyond anything the world today could imagine. They had technology that shaped stars, controlled gravity, and traveled across galaxies as easily as humans now used planes. Harris watched them build Eldora 7, using machines the size of moons, constructing its artificial layers piece by piece, filling its center with a powerful core that glowed like captured lightning. The holographic narrator spoke in a deep voice, calm yet filled with sorrow. "We built Eldora 7 as the first of many strongholds, for we discovered an enemy that even our power could not easily defeat." The scene shifted again. Harris saw dark shapes moving across the edges of the universe, vast serpentine creatures made of shadow and hunger. They slithered between galaxies, devouring entire star systems. These were the Void Serpents, the same monsters now approaching Eldora 7. He felt his heart tighten as he watched the first humans fight them in massive battles, using weapons that bent light, sound, and energy. But the Void Serpents were nearly immortal, absorbing the attacks and growing stronger. Many worlds fell. Entire civilizations vanished overnight. We built Eldora, 7 to trap them, the hologram said. A star that was not a star. A weapon that was also a shield. The first humans created a network of artificial stars, each one connected, forming a barrier of energy that blocked the serpents from entering the inner galaxies. And for a long time it worked. The serpents were pushed back, sealed behind the glowing wall of artificial suns. Harris watched the first humans celebrate, believing their victory was permanent. But then the images grew darker. A strange light appeared in the sky, a rip in space, something even the first humans could not understand. From the void beyond the serpents came a greater disaster, the narrator said. A storm of dark energy swept through their empire, corrupting machines, breaking time, and erasing knowledge. Their cities fell silent. Their ships vanished. Their technology failed. The first humans realized the truth. They were doomed. Harris watched a group of ancient scientists gather around Eldora 7. They recorded warnings, coded messages, and left behind guardians to protect the star. We knew our end was near, the hologram whispered. But we also knew we would rise again. For we left our seed on Earth. A new beginning. A new humanity. Harris felt a shock run through him. The hologram continued. We erased our records so the serpents could not find you. We hid our secrets so you could grow without fear. But now the barrier is failing, and only our descendants can save the galaxy. The holographic world faded, and Harris found himself back in the control chamber. The crystal core pulsed urgently. Outside, the station shook again, louder this time. The void serpents were attacking harder. Maya's voice crackled through Harris's communicator. Harris, the serpents are breaking through the outer field. We need to activate the star defenses now. The Guardians' voices echoed in the background, issuing battle orders. Harris turned to the core, which opened like a blooming flower, revealing a glowing panel with hand-shaped indentations. He understood instantly. It needed human DNA to activate. He placed his hands on the panel. Energy surged through him, not painful but overwhelming, filling his mind with ancient instructions he had never learned but suddenly understood, as if they were part of him. The walls lit up in bright patterns, spinning faster and faster. Eldora 7 awakened. Outside, the artificial star brightened dramatically, and beams of golden energy shot from its surface, forcing the void serpents back. Maya and Tom watched from the viewing deck in awe as the star roared like a living giant. But the fight was far from over. The star was powerful, but the serpents were growing more aggressive, slamming against the shield with monstrous force. The Guardians shouted that the star's energy core was unstable. If it overloaded, the entire system could collapse. Harris felt the pressure building inside the chamber. He knew what the hologram had shown him was not just history. It was a warning. The first humans built this star for a reason. And now, that responsibility had fallen to him. He pressed both hands deeper into the panel. "Come on," he whispered. "Wake up, fully wake up." The crystal core pulsed one more time, then unleashed a shockwave of light that shook the entire station. Outside, the serpents paused, sensing something ancient had returned. Harris felt the star's full power unlocking. Humanity's forgotten legacy was rising again, but so was the danger that once destroyed the first humans. As the shockwave settled, Dr. Harris felt the energy inside Eldora 7 growing stronger and more alive, as if the ancient star machine had finally opened its eyes after thousands of years of sleep, and the golden patterns running along the walls began to move like rivers of light flowing toward the core, making the entire chamber vibrate with a deep hum that shook his bones. Outside, Maya and Tom watched the giant star flare brighter and hotter than ever before, its glow spreading across space like a rising sun, pushing the void serpents further back. But the creatures did not retreat far. Instead, they circled the star with renewed fury, their serpentine bodies twisting, their dark scales pulsing with violet sparks, preparing for a massive strike. Harris could feel their presence even from inside the chamber, like shadows pressing against his mind, whispering in a language of hunger and destruction. The crystal core flashed, projecting a new hologram, a warning from the first humans. The message said the star's full activation would draw the serpents in larger numbers, because the ancient enemy fed on powerful energy sources. Eldora, 7 was like a lighthouse in a dark sea, guiding both hope and danger. Harris swallowed hard, realizing that by awakening the star, he had triggered the final phase of a battle begun thousands of years ago. Maya's voice crackled in his ear again, filled with urgency. Harris, the serpents are forming a spiral around the star. It looks like they're preparing a focused attack. We need a plan. Harris looked at the shifting symbols on the walls, trying to understand the star systems. Then he noticed something new. Another panel opening from the floor, revealing a small floating orb with glowing rings. In his mind, he suddenly knew its purpose. It was a command interface, a tool to channel the star's energy using the pilot's thoughts. He reached out to it, and the orb lifted higher, scanning his face before releasing a soft tone of approval. Once again, ancient knowledge flowed into him, filling his mind with maps of space, diagrams of energy fields, and instructions written in a forgotten language that he could now read as easily as breathing. Maya and Tom arrived at the chamber door with 2 guardians following them. They stared in awe as Harris interacted with the orb. Tom whispered, "It looks like the star knows him, like it's choosing him." The guardians bowed their heads, confirming Tom's guess. One guardian spoke in a calm but serious tone. The star recognizes his bloodline. He is the descendant. Only he can complete the awakening. Before Harris could process what that meant, the star trembled violently as the void serpents let out a mighty roar that echoed across space. They lunged toward the star, their enormous bodies slamming against the energy shield, causing massive ripples of distortion. Maya grabbed the railing to steady herself and shouted, "They're trying to break the shield. If they get through, the star won't hold." Harris turned to the orb, and a surge of instinct guided his next move. He placed both hands inside the floating rings, and the orb wrapped around his forearms like warm metal. Suddenly he felt a jolt as the star linked with his mind. He gasped, seeing everything at once, every energy channel, every shield layer, every serpent's position outside. It was overwhelming, like being pulled into the center of a storm. Maya stepped forward, worried, but Harris raised a trembling hand. "I'm fine. I can control it." The orb responded to his thoughts, and the shields grew thicker, glowing brighter, creating waves of light that pushed back the serpents. But the creatures howled louder, gathering into a massive formation. The largest serpent, the Alpha, slid forward, its body bigger than mountains, its eyes glowing like burning amethyst. When it opened its mouth, a swirling storm of dark energy formed inside. The guardians gasped. "They are preparing the void strike," one said. "If it hits the star, everything will collapse." Harris tried to reinforce the shields, but the star's systems were struggling. Eldora, 7 was powerful, but the serpents had been growing stronger for ages beyond imagination. Maya stepped to the core, placing a hand on Harris's shoulder. "You're not alone. Tell us what to do." Harris felt the orb shift again, revealing an image in his vision, a hidden system the first humans had never used. Something called the Heartfire Protocol. It required multiple operators. "I need 3 more to connect with the star," Harris said. "It's the only way to match the serpent's power." Maya stepped forward without hesitation. Tom followed, though his hand shook slightly. One guardian also volunteered, bowing his head. The orb responded to them, splitting into 4 glowing rings that wrapped around their wrists. Suddenly, all 4 of them felt the star's energy flowing through their minds. Harris guided them, showing them how to hold the power without letting it overwhelm them. The shield strengthened again, glowing like molten gold. The Serpent Alpha unleashed a void strike, a massive blast of purple-black energy that tore through space like a giant spear. It hit the shield, sending shock waves through the entire station. Maya screamed. Tom nearly collapsed. The Guardian's legs buckled, but Harris held firm, pushing back with everything he had. The star answered, roaring with ancient power, sending a counterblast of light. Darkness and light collided in a massive explosion that shook the galaxy. When the flash cleared, the serpents reeled back, wounded but not defeated. Harris panted, his face pale. "This was only the beginning," he whispered. "The real battle is coming." As the light from the clash faded, Harris felt his heartbeat pounding like a drum in his ears, and the star chamber shook again as new waves of energy moved through the ancient systems, responding to the threat outside. Maya and Tom were still connected to the glowing rings, sweating, breathing hard, but refusing to step back. The Guardian stood steady, though his face showed deep concern. Outside, the wounded void serpents circled Eldora, 7 with renewed anger, their dark bodies twisting through the vacuum like monstrous shadows preparing for another attack. The alpha serpent drifted closer, its massive eyes glowing with pure hatred, its body crackling with purple electricity as it recovered from the counterblast. Harris could sense their intentions through the star's energy field, and the message was clear. The serpents would not stop until the ancient star machine was destroyed and everyone inside it was erased from existence. The star core released another pulse of golden light, and Harris felt new information rushing into his mind, revealing deeper levels of the star's design. Eldora, 7 was not just a power source. It was a doorway, a beacon, a weapon, and something even more important, a message left for the second generation of humans, those who were born after the fall of the first human empire. Harris whispered, barely able to speak. "It's showing me something huge." Maya stepped closer, her voice shaking. "What is it? What do you see?" Harris tried to breathe normally as images flashed through his mind. Stars shattering, massive fleets fighting in darkness, the first humans standing against endless waves of void serpents. He saw the ancient war, a war so massive that entire galaxies trembled. Then he saw the fall, the first humans losing everything, worlds burning, civilizations collapsing. A last desperate plan. They built Eldora, 7 as their final hope, a hidden star machine designed to protect the future humans who would rise after them. "This star was made for us," Harris said. "They built it because they knew they would lose. They knew the serpents would return one day." Tom swallowed hard, fear rising in his voice. But why hide all of this? Why didn't they leave more warnings? Why didn't they prepare us better? The Guardian spoke with a heavy tone. "Because the serpents hunt knowledge. The more a species knows about them, the faster the serpents find them. The first humans erased their own history to protect the next generation." That truth hit all of them like a weight. Humanity had forgotten its past not by accident, but by sacrifice. The star trembled again as the alpha serpent opened its mouth, charging another void strike, this one even larger than before. A massive vortex of dark energy formed, spinning faster and faster. If the blast hit the shield at full strength, the star would break, and so would everyone inside. Harris felt panic rising, but the orb around his arm shifted, showing him one more hidden system, a deep, ancient power source buried under the star's surface. The Heartfire core. He could feel it like a storm, filled with the last remaining energy stored by the first humans. But activating it came with a warning. Once awakened, the star cannot return to sleep. It will burn itself fully to complete its purpose. Harris understood immediately. If he used the Heartfire core, Eldora, 7 would unleash unimaginable power, enough to stop the serpents temporarily, but the star machine would not survive for long. Maya saw the fear on his face. "Harris, what does the orb want you to do?" He hesitated. "It wants me to activate the Heartfire. But if I do, the star will begin its final cycle. We might only have one chance to survive the serpents." Tom shook his head. "Then we must do it. If we don't, the serpents will destroy everything anyway." The Guardian nodded. "Your ancestors created this weapon for a moment like this. Use it." Harris placed both hands deeper into the orb, and the rings tightened, glowing brighter as the chamber floor opened to reveal a massive core of swirling golden fire. Maya, Tom, and the Guardian held their positions as new rings connected to them, pulling energy from their minds and hearts. The entire star began to roar, its light turning blindingly bright. Outside, the Alpha Serpent fired the Void Strike, a gigantic beam of darkness that sped toward the star like a spear of pure destruction. Harris shouted, "Now, activate Heartfire." The chamber exploded with golden flames, and Eldora, 7 unleashed a gigantic wave of light, brighter than anything in the galaxy. The two forces collided, the dark void strike and the Heartfire blast, creating a shockwave so powerful it shook distant planets. The void serpents screamed, twisting wildly as the light burned through their bodies. The alpha serpent fought harder than the others, refusing to fall, but cracks of golden light spread across its dark scales. Harris felt his strength fading, but he refused to stop. He pushed harder, channeling every memory, every emotion, every bit of human determination. "We are not your prey," he shouted. The heart fire surged again, and the alpha serpent finally burst into shards of violet smoke. The remaining serpents retreated into deep space, leaving trails of darkness behind. Maya collapsed to her knees. Tom lay on the floor, gasping. The Guardian bowed his head, exhausted. Harris stood trembling, looking up at the glowing star machine. The serpents were gone, but the heartfire was awake, and the star was counting down. The final phase had begun. As the echoes of the fading serpents disappeared into the distant darkness, Harris stared at the glowing core of Eldora 7, feeling a deep fear rising inside him as the star machine began shifting into its final phase, releasing slow, rhythmic pulses like the heartbeat of a giant nearing its last breath. Maya struggled to stand, her legs shaking, while Tom used the wall for support, still breathing hard from the energy overload. The Guardian looked at the burning heartfire core with a sorrowful expression, as if he already knew what would come next. Harris felt the orb around his arms vibrating, trying to pull him deeper into the connection. He closed his eyes, and the star filled his mind with new information, an ancient countdown sequence, glowing symbols, warnings written by the first humans thousands of years ago. "The final cycle cannot be stopped," the message said. "Once awakened, the heartfire will burn until its purpose is complete. Protect the descendant. Protect the future." Harris opened his eyes, with a sharp breath. "We don't have much time. The star is preparing something very big." Maya wiped sweat from her forehead. "Like what? Is it going to explode?" Tom's voice cracked. "Because if that thing explodes, the whole system will get wiped out." Harris shook his head slowly, trying to make sense of the flowing symbols. "Not explode, transform. The star is turning into a weapon, a final weapon left by the first humans." The Guardian lowered his head. "The light wave, the last hope of your ancestors." Harris felt a chill run down his spine. The light wave was not just a blast. It was an enormous energy pulse meant to travel across star systems, destroying void serpents wherever they hid. But activating it would demand all the star's remaining power. Eldora 7 would not survive. Outside, sensors showed the serpents were not gone forever, but gathering far away, forming a massive storm of darkness in deep space. They were wounded, angry, and preparing to return stronger. Maya looked at the star's trembling surface and whispered, "If they come back with full force, we can't fight them again." Harris nodded. "That's why the star is preparing the light wave. It's the only way to stop them for good." Tom looked scared but determined. "So what do we do?" Harris felt the orb shift again, showing him a final message. The light wave needed a conductor, someone to guide the energy, someone whose mind could shape its direction and purpose. And that someone had to be the descendant. Harris felt the truth hit him hard. "The weapon needs me to activate it." Maya grabbed his arm. "But can you survive it?" Harris didn't answer at first. He wasn't sure. The power of an entire star flowing through a human mind could destroy his body, his thoughts, his identity. But if he didn't do it, Earth would face extinction when the serpents returned. The Guardian stepped forward. "Your ancestors created this star for your bloodline. Only you can complete their last mission." Harris looked at Maya and Tom, seeing fear but also trust in their eyes. They had come too far to turn back now. He took a deep breath. "Help me reach the central platform." They guided him to a raised circular platform in the middle of the chamber. As he stepped onto it, the entire room changed. The walls opened like petals, revealing a direct view of the burning heartfire core and the galaxy beyond. The orb detached from his arms and floated above him, transforming into a ring of golden symbols spinning around his head. Maya, Tom, and the Guardian stood behind him, watching in silent awe as beams of light connected from the star to Harris's chest, forming a glowing web around him. Harris felt the full power of Eldora, 7 entering him. Hot like fire, but clean like pure light. His mind expanded, stretching far beyond his body. He could see distant stars, moving serpent formations, hidden galaxies, energy currents flowing through space like invisible rivers. His body trembled violently, but he focused on one thought: protect humanity. The Heartfire core responded. The star outside grew brighter, its surface crackling with golden lightning. The chamber shook, alarms blaring. Maya shouted, "Harris, the serpent storm is returning. They're gathering energy." Harris saw them. Far beyond Eldora 7, a giant spiral of dark shapes merged together, forming something massive, something worse than the Alpha Serpent. A colossal monster with countless wings of shadow, its size dwarfing whole moons. It was the Serpent King, the one who led the ancient war against the first humans. It was coming, and fast. Harris pushed his fear aside. The star machine roared like a living beast preparing for its final strike. The light wave sequence began. Golden fire swirled around the star, forming a gigantic sphere of power. The Serpent King opened its enormous mouth, charging a world-ending blast. Maya screamed, "Harris now! Release it!" Harris raised both hands, and the golden rings exploded with light. The star unleashed the light wave. A wall of pure energy surged outward, filling space with blinding gold. It met the Serpent King head-on, with a thunderous impact that shook the galaxy. The Serpent King shrieked as the wave burned through its wings, through its massive body. The other serpents tried to flee, but the light wave caught them too, dissolving them into dust. Harris felt the power tearing through him, burning his consciousness, but he held on with everything he had. "For humanity," he whispered. The light wave spread farther, until no darkness remained. Then Eldora 7 dimmed, its fire draining, its surface cracking like cooling metal. The star machine was dying. Maya rushed toward Harris as the energy rings collapsed. Tom shouted his name. Harris's body fell forward, glowing faintly. Maya caught him in her arms. His eyes were barely open. A weak smile formed on his face. "Did we do it?" he whispered. Before anyone could answer, the dying star flickered one last time, revealing a final message in the air: "Prepare for the return." And then the light went out. Darkness settled over Eldora 7 as the great star machine's light finally faded, leaving the station cold and silent except for the soft hum of the failing systems. Harris lay weak in Maya's arms, his body trembling from the immense energy he had channeled, but his eyes were alive with a quiet strength. Tom checked the readings on his portable scanner, shaking his head in disbelief. "The star is dying, and the light wave used all its power. We stopped the serpents for now, but this place won't last much longer." Maya looked out through the vast windows, staring into the blackness where the void serpents had vanished, but she felt an emptiness deeper than space itself. "So what now? Where do we go from here?" The Guardian spoke softly, his voice filled with respect and sorrow. "The first humans left their legacy here, but they also left a warning. The darkness will return, and when it does, humanity must be ready." Harris struggled to sit up, wincing as pain shot through his body. "I can't stay here," he said quietly. "The star's power is gone, and I'm not sure how much longer I have." Maya held his hand tightly. "We'll get you home. We'll make sure your sacrifice means something." Tom was already preparing the ship's systems for their return journey. The silence was heavy, but no one dared break it. As they moved through the ancient corridors, the station seemed to grow colder, the golden light fading to dull shadows. Suddenly, a hidden panel in the wall slid open, revealing a small chamber filled with ancient artifacts and glowing crystals. Harris paused, feeling drawn to the strange objects. Among them was a small device, shaped like a star, but carved from unknown metal, humming softly. The Guardian stepped forward, bowing his head. "This is the seed of the first humans. It holds the knowledge and power to rebuild what was lost." Maya picked up the seed carefully. "So this is their promise, their hope for the future." Harris nodded weakly. "If we can protect this, maybe we can start again." Just then, the ship's alarm sounded. Tom rushed back to the control room, eyes wide with shock. We're not alone. Outside the station, a new fleet had appeared. Ships not like the Guardians, not like the Serpents, but something else. Sleek, fast, and armed with weapons that glowed with strange energy. Harris, Maya, and Tom stared at the view screen, questions flooding their minds. Who were these new arrivals? Friend or foe? The Guardian looked solemn. They are the Watchers, an ancient race who once observed the first humans and the Void Serpents. They come now to see if humanity is ready. The Watcher ships sent a signal, peaceful but firm. We seek parley. Maya sighed in relief. Maybe help is finally here. Harris looked at the seed in Maya's hand, and then at the glowing stars beyond. Our fight is far from over, but now we are not alone. As the Watchers docked with the station, the crew prepared to share the story of Eldora 7, of the first humans, the Guardians, and the terrible war with the Void Serpents. This story, once lost in darkness, was now the key to humanity's survival and future. Harris smiled weakly, knowing that the greatest adventure had only just begun.